Hi guys, Harry Sunday here, letting you know that there's a apparel company that supports the game that you love. It's called thereisonlyonefootball.com, guys. They've got all sorts of stuff, from caps, t-shirts, water bottles, all sorts of accessories, even for your mobile phone. All that sporting stuff you can wear anywhere you want to wear it, guys. That's right. And don't forget the website it's on, therisonlyonefootball.com.
There is only one football!
To show you what's happening right here, right now in the studio, because we got this beautiful shirts that we're showing with Frothy right now, guys. Frothy's back with me. Frothy, what's happening with these shirts, mate? Can you tell me what's happening right now?
Shut up, let me talk. Now,
bloody
listen,
hell, mate.
We have these great tops here.
Yes.
Now, it's a bit of a 2-minute show tonight, I believe. So
Yes.
we're back in town, but we'll be
We are.
officially back in town on
That's right,
Monday
yep,
with
yep,
some
yep,
major announcements and start again. Announcements.
Yes.
Can you spell announcements? Can you?
Announcements.
Can you spell that?
I can't spell
Well,
it all.
leave it for next time. Now, let's go through the tops. Now,
That's
these
right. Yep,
tops,
yep.
well, if you were born 400 years ago, you'd know about these tops. So we've got the great St George here, I believe.
No, Brisbane Lions,
Sorry
mate.
about that. That's Brisbane Lions there.
Brizzy Lions, mate.
And we got South Melbourne Hellas there.
No, Fitzroy United, you're
Sorry
telling me,
about
mate.
that.
Fitzroy United.
This one's Inter Monaro, is it?
Into Monaro.
No, that's St George Budapest.
St.
apparently.
George, yes, the Hungarians,
Yes,
the Hungarians,
and over
mate.
to my right, which is your right as well. Are we still
Yes.
on?
We're still on, of course,
on?
we're still
Well,
on, mate.
over
Yes.
here, we've got the great Sydney Olympic. And I know the cat has probably ordered a couple of
Oh,
those.
he's got a couple of hundred, mate.
Well, I tell you why he's ordered a couple. I had a chat with Peter Raskopoulos during the week.
Oh, he hates his guts.
And he said to me, Peter Catholos, a cat, has ordered 2 because his gut's so bloody big, he needs 2 jumpers to make
Really?
one. So, well, look, that's only a joke. Cat.
Oh, my God, mate.
Well, look, also, Canberra, what's this? Canberra City.
Canberra City. You know who coached them?
Yes.
In 1977?
Frank Garrock, wasn't
Johnny
it?
Warren.
Johnny Warren.
We're laughing, mate, everywhere.
I told you so, Johnny Warren said. I doubt we'll sell many because how many supporters did they have? That's beside the point. Also, we got Hokoa up there.
That's
great,
right, of course.
Brazilian heritage, are they?
Brasilia. Well, yeah, a lot of them escaped to Brazil.
We'll leave it at that. And the great Marconi.
Marconi.
And let's go through them. Great quality.
Of course.
They fit nicely. They are cheap. You know what? They're too bloody cheap.
$75.
$75 is not even $80.
Plus postage and handling.
Plus postage and handling, and our great friend with David Ben and
Yes.
Arrow Sport.
Arrow Sport together. There is only, and then guys, you can buy them on. There's only
Well,
one
you keep
football.
going. I'll play the great South Melbourne tune.
There is only one football. Where you can get it from? There is only one
There's only one
football.com
football,
in
yes,
conjunction with Arrow Sport. You can also buy fantastic
Yes,
kits for your teams as well
yes.
at Arrow Sport, and they're working together to bring you these fantastic
Yes, they are,
1977
Are we still on?
Phillips
Check 1,
League.
2.
Of course,
Check-
you're bloody
Sorry
on,
about
Frothy.
that. Yep.
And of course, guys, 1977.
Yes,
These shirts are fantastic. You've got the other ones at $150, which are the
Well,
rigid jigs, $150,
yes,
and then
but,
you've got the sublimated ones
yes.
at $75, guys. So yes.
Yes. And can I just say, I
Yes.
suppose it's not appropriate to say this, but my team had a win on the weekend.
Yes, they did.
Well, not the weekend, a couple of days ago. So they're flying, and I tell you what, it's pretty much it. Now we're going to sing a song just to.
Well, I
finish
can't.
the-
We can't
the short
actually.
show
We
tonight.
can't actually sing a song tonight
No,
because
well,
we're just
doesn't
doing
matter.
we're just doing the show tonight.
Well,
that's
we're
all.
just advertising the jumpers here.
That's
and,
right, guys. Where to get them from? There is only one
football. That's the one there,
football.com.
and,
So, guys, thank you, guys. Get these fantastic shirts right now because you will never find them. Good night, guys. Thank you for joining us. See you in a couple of days' time. Thanks, guys. Get on Arrow Sport.
Monday,
Arrow Sport. There's only one
We'll
football.com.
probably have Paul Wade on
Thank you,
Monday,
guys. See you. Bye-bye.
There's
Thank
going to
you.
be summer we're going to have.
Footballers! Hello?
Oh, yes, guys. It's that show again tonight that you love very well. Footballers all the way from where? From Australia. Beaming all the way to the US and England, all around the world, to Madagascar, to Kazakhstan, wherever you want to be. We're here live tonight at the Roxburgh Park studio. Welcome everyone to Footballers Live. We've got a big guest tonight, guys. He's probably laughing at us right now. Let's get out.
Let's get loud. Let's get loud.
The cup of
Turn the
life.
music up
This
and sing
is
it
the one.
loud. Turn
Now
it.
is the time. Don't ever stop. We shouldn't know.
I tell you
Gotta
what,
be strong.
I'm going to crack
We
open
shouldn't know.
a great...
From the top, and when you feel the heat, the world is at your
Well,
feet.
maybe I'll have two.
No one can
Have a
hold you
nice-
back if you really want it.
Hey!
I see it in your eyes. You want the cup of life. Now the day's here, you're gonna get it. Do you really want it? Do you really? Tell me right now, people.
Ho!
Here we go. Ale, ale, ale.
Ole, ole,
Go,
ole.
go, go. Ale, ale, ale.
Ole, ole,
Tonight's
ole.
the night. We're gonna celebrate. Here we go. Ale. Oh, we are the people. We are the passion. We are the history. We are the soccer psychos of Australia. And we're coming to get you right now, Frothy. It's our way, the highway, Frothy. It's our way, the highway. We got a guest here tonight, and there's probably thousands watching right now. There's thousands watching, mate.
Listen.
Oh, my God, look at these people tonight, mate.
Now, shut up, let me talk.
Oh, here we go again.
Now, I'm going to say, when Andy's going to talk after my
Please.
30-second little script.
You better do it, mate. 10,
We
9,
want to
8.
know. We want to know. We've had in the past.
Yes,
we've had.
yes.
We're not going to say who they were. Some NSL players that weren't really them.
Yes.
They stole the show. We believe that they were them. So what we're going to do, we're going to get Andy. He's going to go. He's going to pretend he's at Middle Park now, 1985. He's going to give us a 2-minute commentary. And we're going to see whether this is the real Andy. What's his second name?
Andrew Pashcalidis, mate. We've been trying to get the guy here. What's wrong with you?
So before he starts talking, we want to hear a 2-minute introduction of the great game between South Melbourne Hellas and Heidelberg live from Middle Park. Now, Andy, go
Are
for
you ready,
it.
Andy?
You're
Go
on.
for it. Go, Andy.
Are you guys serious?
Yes, we are.
Yeah,
Of
we
course
want
we
to see
are.
whether it's the real Andy Pascal.
Why are we the soccer
Stephen
psychos?
Blair plays it.
Go on.
Stephen Blair plays it from the back.
Oh, yes.
Looks inside to Peterson. Peterson
Yep, go on.
over his left shoulders. Paul Wade. Wade plays the ball through. It's on to Salakis. Salakis, it's 1-0.
Mate, the crowd is roaring, Andy. The crowd's roaring behind us. Oh, my God, mate. We relived the past, and the past was more passionate, Andy. Is that right?
They
Andy,
were the golden days.
how
They were the
did
golden
you-
days, boys.
I heard the trumpet in the background. Don't tell me you blew the trumpet as well.
I always blow the trumpet when I commentate those games.
Mate, I tell you what, Andy.
Well, it's the real Andy.
I have to apologise to Andy. A
Yes,
few weeks
yes.
ago, what happened to us was that
Yes.
these
We,
people from GoPro destroyed us, and we had to fix it up.
Yes.
How's that? Sorry,
Yes,
Andy,
it was
but we
that.
got you tonight. That's the main thing.
Yeah, it's good to be on. It's been long overdue in many ways, hasn't it, mate?
No worries.
But, look, there's nothing wrong with reflecting on a golden period of our game.
No,
and it's
no.
something that, that I've always loved, and I've even managed to engage with the old football through my charity, Heartbeat of Football.
Oh,
We had
yes.
we had an NSL reunion in 2019 pre-COVID. We had 33 ex-Socceroos, but we had guys that flew from all over the country and overseas from, we had Charlie Yankos, we had Tim Cale, Ivanovic flew in, Manus Lamont flew in, Foster, Tobin. It was just a cavalcade, and just the stories.
I'm painting.
Graham Arnold, when he spoke, he spoke about the old days, and
Can't pick you up. Sorry,
Yeah.
Andy. Harry's about to faint here.
Mate, you've got me going.
He's
Andy.
only had
I'm gonna
16
faint.
muffins a day, and
Oh, Jesus Christ. mate.
I'll tell you a classic. I'll give you one classic story from that night. Actually,
Please,
Graham Arnold
please.
spoke so openly about what it meant to play for Sydney, Croatia.
yes,
And he was over his pay for a month, and the president rang him up. Goes, "Don't worry, Graham, we've fixed it up. You're building your house. We're helping you build your house. We pay you." So the next day, a concrete truck turned up and laid out the driveway. The president rings him up and says, "Honey, we pay you on time now, eh?" They built him the driveway instead of giving him the cash.
Jesus. So Andy, go on, keep going.
No, I mean it's just a reflection of the goal. Look, we talk about the golden generation, obviously the Socceroos.
Yes,
but when you look back at that, where they all started, they were sons of immigrants that played for their local clubs, where we all, and what is missed, I think, by a lot of people is, yes, ethnic based, yes, but what these clubs also represented, it was a support base for new immigrants, where they could find work, support, football, marriages, and so on. So it wasn't just football. Football was the catalyst, but what was great about those immigrants, they came here with a rich football pedigree. So their sons and daughters that were born here of ethnic background grew up in a football environment. So it's in your DNA. You talk to your Muskets and all the rest of them, they'll tell you the similar story, and none more so than perhaps Ange Postecoglou when he came out to Australia to settle here.
Exactly, Andy, exactly. Now, let me just say one thing, Andy, about this is that you may have seen the outfits that we wore. We have a great sponsor called There Is Only One Football. Yes. And, mate, I tell you what, we want to send you something out, and Andy, want to send you some shirt out. How's that?
You know what? If you send me something, I'll put it up because I've got my next NSL reunion up here in Sydney in July.
We're coming. We're coming. Are we invited or what?
Oh, you can come up if you want to manage it. But you know what? I'll be in Melbourne before you come to Sydney because I'm coming down in 2 weeks' time.
Yes.
For about 2 weeks, we're going to do the first ever heart health tests through the charity and Victor Chang and the Department of Health and Kim Ontario-Doris.
Oh, fantastic.
We've just been given funding to do it for the very first time in Victoria. And obviously, I've got a lot of friends and family there, and I'm looking forward to going out there and spreading the word about heart health and how important it is for footballers to get a regular checkup.
Oh, my God, man. Mate, Andy, where is this happening? We want to be out there.
Absolutely.
I'll give you the exclusive dates this time next week.
Please.
Because we're just locking them in. But we're going to be at 10 different clubs over a 16-day period. I'm driving down, actually, in the new van, the crash claim van that a gentleman up here donated, Nick Carr, a lovely guy, an angel in so many ways.
Yes.
We've already started testing in Newcastle and the Illawarra region.
Yes.
We've got Western Australia and Queensland knocking on our door, but we've said, look, we've always wanted to be getting into the Victorian market, and we know how rich football is there, as you guys know only too well.
One club I will mention, are you going to be at Heidelberg?
Oh, the Burgers.
Well, this is the thing. The important thing you should note with these tests, we do look at NPL levels, but it's about grassroots, the heart and soul of the game, the weekend warriors, the volunteers. That's where these incidents are really happening. We did have an incident up here 2 weeks ago. David Diapuzzo had a heart attack after training for his NPL club. 36-year-old fit as.
My God.
He's got 2 stents in his heart. And you guys would know that John Aloisi has had heart surgery.
Yes.
You know, Chris Kalantzis has had heart surgery.
Yes.
Tony Bidno missed the World Cup. Mark Cousas had heart surgery. Buddy Farah had heart surgery. So it's almost like it's a common occurrence, sadly.
You know what? You know what you're doing. You have. I hear that you've saved some lives because you found something wrong at some of the games, and you said you better go and see your doctor quickly. Is that right? I bet you.
Well, Harry, the stats this year are scary up here, mate.
There you go.
Last week we went out and tested 4 premium over 45 sides. One of them, the famous Hurstville City Minotaurs that are unbeaten in 7 years up here.
Yep.
And they played against a team called Connells Point that featured people like Pablo Cardozo, Norman Tomei, Georgie Souris, and 61% of those players we tested were advised to go to their doctor for a proper checkup.
Well, there you go.
Not 30%, not 25%, but 61%. And I was on Channel 9 News tonight, and I should be on Weekend Sunrise as well coming up this weekend.
I tell you what, Andy, what you're doing, mate, this is overdue, absolutely overdue. And how many of these players who play out there every weekend and never get themselves tested or something, they're fit. You've seen what's been going on, is that right? We're talking about guys in their 20s. What's going on with these guys? Work it out.
We've had 10 saves in the last 11 incidents, right? The one that we lost this year was up at Maitland in the Hunter area of Newcastle there. Yep. There was no defib on site. The saves include a 9-year-old, a 14-year-old, a 16-year-old, a 23-year-old Jess Amato from Melbourne playing futsal there at Middle Park. He was lucky. There was a copper off duty playing against him, and he helped save him. They couldn't find the defib. At Mount Martha, there was, I think, Freddie Schultz from memory. Sadly, he passed away driving home from a game. Now, to give you a clearer picture, we're aligned with FIFA. They've got a sudden cardiac arrest unit now set up since 2014. We're part of that journey. They love what we're doing here. The cold hard facts, 2014 to 2018, 617 footballers around the world died on the pitch at every level of the game.
Wow.
And I think the most famous incident in terms of what's happening in football, and let's steer away from the great Shane Warne and Rod Marsh and others, was Christian Eriksen.
I heard.
He collapsed in front of the world, basically. The world was watching.
This is amazing.
I actually spoke to the doctor that saved him. I was involved in a special Zoom through the Asian Football Confederation. And last week I was in Canberra at the inaugural Sudden Cardiac Arrest Summit, where I gave a presentation about what's happening at the coalface. The testing model we have is unique. It's not replicated anywhere in this country or, in fact, the world. It's a simple setup, in effect, testing for blood sugar, cholesterol, and blood pressure. But they are three key indicators. If you've got issues, underlying issues, that could be a trigger point.
Yes.
The ultimate test is to go to do a proper stress test, see a cardiologist, and get the proper scans done.
Yes.
Look at John Aloisi, guys. Who would have thought? Non-smoker, non-drinker, heart surgery. But what a fantastic few months it's been for one of our great Socceroos.
He's been unbelievable. And what he said to Andy was, he said at the other clubs he was at, they never had enough money or resources. He had more resources here, and apparently this is why he was more successful. And he was telling everyone the same thing. Yes.
He said it from day one. He told those players that it's going to be grand final time. And, congratulations to them. It's always good to see underdogs, I think, in football come through. And, our local game needs a fillip. The TV ratings are great for the Matildas and the Socceroos, but sadly the A-League's not where it should be. I think the difficulty, and it's coming from someone who worked at SBS and went into pay TV when it started, we've got too many options in terms of what to watch on what platform to watch it.
Yes.
I mean, remember the good old days, and okay, I'm going to blow the SBS trumpet with Les and Johnny, but remember, on a Saturday after your game,
you can hear it, can't you? Middle Park still here, mate. Sorry
about that, Andy.
Exactly. Back in the day, guys, that was the thing. Remember, you'd rush home on a Saturday arvo after your game. You'd watch world soccer. You'd look forward to the birthday clip, the music, and the highlights at the end of it. You'd wake up Sunday morning, Setio with Martin Tyler, on the ball with Johnny and Andy P. Live match on a Sunday night. Then the Olympic Airways highlights on Monday night. So you got your staple diet, and what did it cost you? Nothing
at all. Believe me, just you had to spend money for a bit of a coffee and a couple of biscuits and go for it. That's it. Is that right? Now, Andy,
the good old days. I'm going
to tell you something right now. Now, you started in 1983. Is that right? We're talking about Australian British Weekly. Is that right?
Yeah. Australian Soccer Weekly. It was rather funny actually, because my auntie had rung up my mum and said, "Look, they're advertising for a cadet journalist in Soccer Weekly," and it was owned by the Hellenic Herald, the famous Theo Skalkos. So I just said to them, look, my Greek is not the flashiest, and I'm not as fluent in Greek as I should be. But that was because my dad gave me a choice at 9 years of age to sign on with my local football team or go to Greek school. Now, you give a 9-year-old an option at Greek school or football, you know what he's going to say. So I went the football route. And as a consequence, my Greek is poor and my football was pretty poor anyway. But look, I went in for the job. I just played indoor for New South Wales at the Australian titles. And the guy that interviewed me was impressed with that. He was impressed with my history, my family tree. He was Pondian.
Oh, yes,
my dad's Pondian, and my mum's from down past Sparta. So it worked in my favour. Got the job. I was going to radio school, and would you know it, within 18 months, Les Murray asked me to go to Wollongong and call a game because he couldn't get anyone to drive south.
My God.
And having rellos in Wollongong, because that's where my dad first settled.
Yes.
When he came to Australia via Melbourne and up through the middle of Victoria, New South Wales, as they do. And man, I called the game. It was Apia Leichhardt Wollongong. Apia won 3-0. And I got goal of the week.
Oh, boy.
And it just snowballed from there. You know, I had a full-time radio job, part-time SBS, and then they were auditioning for a sports show host. They were looking for a female host. I was in the offices there with Les doing some football stuff, and they joked, "Why don't you jump in front of the camera, Andy? You're a bit of a confident boy." So I jumped in front of the camera. I get the phone call the next day, "Come in, we want to hire you instead of trying to find a female sports host."
Mate, what do they say, Andy?
That's in a nutshell how it happened, and it happened quickly.
They say
it happened very quickly.
Right time at the right place. Is that right?
Look, it was in many ways, but you know what? The beauty of me joining SBS full-time was that there was no script. It was like Les would say, "Andy, go out and do your thing, have fun with them, come back with the material, show me what it's like, and if it's good enough, we put it to air." So pretty quickly, Les just loved that sort of style of fun and games with the players and the coaches, and interviewing, Mark Viduka washing his dishes at his family home, and Zelko Kalitz playing a nasty villain in a cowboy send-up, and just all that sort of stuff that we used to do. And you don't see it anymore, which is a real shame, because the players want to express their personalities, not just their personalities on the pitch.
I tell you what, last week we had Gary Ward, mate. Did he express his personality last week? Have you heard what he said last week? What an expression of the game. Unbelievable. But I'll tell you something right now. We want to talk about Les Murray. Now, Les Murray, to you, was a mentor, of course, at the beginning. But I heard he was actually a singer as well in a rock band. Is that right?
Yes.
He certainly was, mate. He could perform. I went to his farewell at SBS, mate. He got up on stage with John Paul Young.
Oh,
and belted out a few tunes. He was in a band called the Rubber Band. He used to wear the long jeans, the flares, and all that sort of stuff. He was very musically inclined, and that's probably when you saw the influence on world soccer, when you get all the music clips up there with the famous footballers. And he loved a glass of vino, a cigarette, and a bit of a dance and some music. And here's the thing: when I got married in '88, on my bridal party was my brother-in-law, who used to play with Sydney, Steve Chillis, Les Murray, and Harry Michaels.
Oh, boy.
Now that was an interesting bridal party.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, Harry's an icon of broadcasting in this country. How Harry's not involved in local football
he spoke to me last
defies belief. It really defies belief in so many ways. But that's the nature of the beast. It's like me. I'm a lead world commentator in India. I've been there for 7 years. Can't crack a gig down here, but hey, that's okay. It hurts me because there's so much I could do for local game.
Andy, we've put you up for a job. Actually, you haven't heard this yet, have you?
No. What's that?
The second division, mate. We're looking for a commentator. Work with us if we can get it.
Wow,
mate. Wow. We can call it. You can come and join the Soccer Psychos, mate. How's that?
The Soccer Psychos.
What a name, mate. What a name. Eh? And listen, Johnny Warren.
I told you so.
What was he like? He told you so?
The one thing that I loved about Johnny, what he did for the game, and it's probably understated in many ways. We all know his passion. We all know his history and everything else. What Johnny did, he brought football into the mainstream media. He brought it into the boardrooms. He brought it into corporate Australia, because he was an Anglo-Saxon guy raised in Botany, which is sort of inner west of Sydney, played football with a bunch of wogs, and even his title, Sheila's Wogs and Pufters, told not to do that. He was told not to do that, but he stood firm. He said, I got told playing football was for Sheila's, Wogs and Pufters.
That's true.
That's what he was told.
Well,
That's what he was told.
At school, what do you think we copped at school?
Mate, you know, here's the thing, right? And you probably have it in Victoria. Like I played football all my life, right?
Yep.
And one thing that worked in my favour to assimilate, I played cricket in summer.
Oh, boy.
And I didn't do too badly. So I didn't have that sort of racist undertow that was prevalent through the 70s, 60s, 70s and 80s.
Yep.
It was always, if you could achieve in another sport, you were considered one of them. But if you didn't, it was always going to be sort of a little bit of an issue underneath. I don't say racism was at a high level, but it was just under the surface. You know, it was just waiting to explode at any given moment. But you know what? Deep down, I'm more Australian than most of my dinky-die mates because, you know, I was born and raised here. I wear many hats in the community. I'm an Australia Day ambassador. I've just been appointed onto the New South Wales Office of Sport, Multicultural Sports Council.
Unbelievable.
I've got the charity up and running with a wonderful bunch of volunteers. And I'm also involved in Special Olympics whenever I can. So This is a thing. When you're a son or daughter of an immigrant, the one thing that you're taught young is to give.
Exactly.
What is yours? If you can give to others, do it.
Exactly.
Because our parents came here with nothing. The shirt on their back, one suitcase. In that suitcase, my dad had cash money. He bought 5 houses when he landed. But that's another story the taxman doesn't know about.
We know nothing. We know nothing.
So he hasn't started working yet, Andy, and he's got 5 houses already. Now, how did he manage that? Was it a...
Stop talking about it, will you?
Apparently, Harry, I'm not Greek, obviously. Apparently, there was a big backgammon competition in Greece, and he won big bucks in that, is it?
Oh, who knows? I mean, look, at the end of the day, the migration boom was principally to reboot the country after the Second World War, and the physically intense labour jobs were the ones that migrants would jump into. I remember I was born in Balmain, working class suburb here in Sydney. Good luck trying to buy in there now. Oh, my God. Had a few zeros on the back end of it. We had 3 families living in a 2-bedroom place for about 2 years.
My God.
Well, no wonder you got 10 houses now, Andy. How many houses do you own?
I don't actually. I sold, mate. I've only got an apartment.
Wow, apartment.
But, you know, good luck buying an apartment in Sydney or Melbourne for that matter, guys. How are kids going to afford it? Seriously. How's the next generation going to afford property?
Mate, I can tell you the cheapest thing you can buy these days is a tent. How's that?
Yes, or you can come and live with Harry over here. And
oh, God.
Harry's got lots of room in his...
Oh, here we go.
Why don't they all come
now,
here?
Now, Andy, Frothy, are you going to do that? How many questions have you got for Andy for 60 seconds or something?
Well,
or 30 seconds?
Let's have a go here. Let's have a go. Okay. I've got a 30-second shot clock, Andy, for you.
I better press the buttons,
Now, we've got short questions and short answers will be appreciated. And obviously, if we go on to 14 seconds, that's the actual record. Who owns that? Gary Ward.
Gary Ward won last week. I couldn't believe it, mate.
Gary Ward.
It's an English.
14 seconds is the time to beat. And obviously, the prize will be a Brisbane Roar membership for next year. No. And I know you want one of those, so that's all good. Now, here we go. Harry, start the clock, will you? Okay, here we go.
That was it. It's on, mate. Bloody hell.
Here we go. Dogs or cats for you, Andy?
Cats.
A favourite movie?
Goodfellas.
Goodfellas.
Ooh, that's a mafia one.
Are we going to stop the clock with that one?
I like it. I love it. I want some more of it.
Now, we stopped the clock, so we're on pause at the moment, Andy. Now, have you heard of Schindler's List and Jackass or something like that? I mean, you've got to put them... well, they're great films, aren't they?
Oh, my God, Jackass.
Start the clock. Here we go. How do you like your steak?
Medium.
Medium, yeah, but fair enough. Coffee or tea for you, Andy?
Coffee.
Best soccer player of all time. Now, don't say Paul Wade.
Oh.
He probably will.
Maradona.
Absolutely. Twitter or Instagram, what works for you?
Twitter.
Holden or Ford? No, there's a good old Aussie question.
Holden.
Holden, absolutely. Vanilla or chocolate for you, Andy?
Both.
Oh,
Well, okay.
Horace is back.
Now, sorry about that, Horace. We have a crow that flies
He must
over. He
have
does a
been at this
flyover like
bloody-
the old Qantas Jumbo Jet, the Grand Prix, Andy. Now, Harry, can you book him in for
Shoot
another
that
night,
bloody-
please?
shoot him
the
with it.
bastard now.
Sorry, but Horace
Well,
is going past there.
Now, we pause the clock, so don't stress. You've got enough time there. How are we going for time?
We've got
anyway?
a couple of seconds
9
left.
seconds to go. Now, hopefully your lovely wife's not listening to this one. Blondes or brunettes, Andy?
Blondes.
Oh, same here. Now, yes. Harry just blew you a kiss.
Oh, here we go.
Now, disco or rock and roll for you, Andy? Who were
Rock
you?
and roll.
Rock and roll. Now, Harry, how did we go for time? I believe he's gone just over.
15 seconds. I
15
can't
seconds.
believe this.
Sorry, Andy. We can try again next week if you like. But we need quicker. Well, then again, I suppose it's my fault. We did pause a few
my God,
times.
I tell you
You
what.
left a bloody clock
Now,
running, didn't you?
I did, mate. Honestly, Andy, we're going to talk about this Indian Premier League. Is it the Indian Super League?
Hold on.
I've got to say something about this before he starts.
Hold on. Now, Harry mentioned Indian Premier League or whatever, the
No,
Super
that's
League
the
they call
cricket.
it.
That's the cricket.
Well, the Indian football.
Super League.
Now, Andy, look, no one's watching the show, mate, so you can be upfront honest.
What?
Now, I've watched a few games,
1,000
Andy.
here, mate.
And I tell you what, under 16s, Diamond Valley could give him a run. I mean,
Oh, no.
I tell you what, but full credit to the spectators. The game hasn't even. I've watched a few games, and it is funny. It is funny, I must admit. Now, they get so excited even before the game even starts. I've got to give it to them.
Oh, look, Indian supporters are just insane. They're incredible.
They are.
They didn't. Unfortunately, because of COVID, the last 2 seasons of commentating, we had to commentate without fans, and that's always a difficult thing to do. It's hard for the players, and those players are living in a hotel 24/7. But you know what's interesting? We're seeing an increase in the amount of Australians that are playing up there in the last couple of years.
Exactly.
David Williams, yes.
Yeah, David Williams was up there this season, Brad Inman, Joel Chianese, Jordan Murray, Dylan Fox. Roy Krishna's a real star up there. He went up there with Williams
player.
from Wellington.
Yes.
And once they signed with ATK, Mohan Bagan, I was asked pre-season, like 2 months out, they did a Zoom interview thing. And I said, well, wherever those 2 guys go, they're going to comp. And that's what they did. I mean, they wrestled it off Eric Pardalou's team. Remember Eric from Melbourne City and also from Brisbane Roar. He just recently retired. He was actually an expert commentator this year with John Gregory. John Gregory was back there commentating. He had coached up there. They've had some big players play up there. They're desperate to get football off the ground. They've got the franchises right now. They've got them in areas where football is strong. It's a work in progress. There's no doubt. People ask me, can you make similarities with the A-League? You can't. No. You really can't.
Well, that was
my
next question, actually.
Yeah. Look, Frothy, the thing is, it's growing.
It is.
They had a competition called the I-League, which was, pardon me, their national competition. That's still running as the second-tier competition. They just need to nurture and create a new generation of footballers. And the irony is, you talk about cricket, some of the people from the cricket world that are involved in football, Virat Kohli is a part owner of FC Goa, which is a lovely place on the west coast.
I've seen it.
Suresh Ganguly has been involved. MS Dhoni's been involved. So they've got some people with big reach. The richest guy in India has created this league.
Unbelievable.
Mr. Ambani's probably worth anything between 80 to 85 billion, I would think.
What?
I think can he buy this league here too, Andy? Can he buy the A-League as well? God,
he could buy every league in the country if he wanted to.
He should.
What I don't get, we've got this amazing relationship between India and Australia for cricket.
Oh yes.
Why the hell have we not engaged them with football, knowing that they are the last frontier? And from a government perspective, India is becoming a very, very important ally. So football could be a conduit to create, again, a greater relationship between both countries.
Unbelievable. Now, what I would like to ask you, Andy, is this. When you walk into a stadium, the first thing that you smell, Well, now what they sell meat pies here and all that. We're talking about curry. Is that right?
Well,
does it actually
curry come out your
must be that
backside
much
over
curry
there.
sold in those stadiums? I cannot believe this, Andy. Please tell me it's that strong, and you burnt your tongue. I bet you.
Mate, I tell you what, I must say, I wasn't a fan of spicy food when I first went up there, but I'm a massive fan. I even found the only Greek restaurant in Goa. It took a 2-hour drive, but bloody hell. Yeah, and there's one in Mumbai that you can smash plates in. Like we're not allowed to smash plates now because of OH&S.
Yes.
I saw Eric Pardew send me a video last week. He was in a Greek restaurant nightclub that just opened in Mumbai, the city that never sleeps, the city that probably has a population of around 30 million. So just think of all of Australia in one city, and that's Mumbai.
Well, Andy, can I just add to that? Why do the Greeks, why do they smash the plates? What, they didn't enjoy the meal, so they just smashed the plate? What's the story behind that?
Indians must
ask Harry.
The Indians must do bloody different, mate.
Greeks, Harry. What's the?
Mate, hang on. Hang on. I don't know why you're asking me, Andy, because we could be related. You know, I've got a Pontian background too. There you go.
Well, what is a Pontian? I heard that's a Greek Irish man or something.
Oh, I don't know, mate.
We are the Irish to the Greeks, I think. We are pretty much the Irish.
Well, Andy,
let me tell you.
Can I ask you some questions here? Now, you will know, obviously you've been there for a while and you know the quality of the game there, which is growing. Look, I must admit, I've watched a few and some of it was laughable, but they will get better. If they got people going, they will attract sponsors, they will attract better players, better coaching, and before you know it, the Indian Super League, whatever it's called, it's going to be better than the A-League because people go. Now, the best team in India, who would you rate them like in the A-League? Are they sort of bottom two in the A-League ladder? Where would they sit in the ladder?
The City Football Group has got their reach into India as well. Mumbai City.
Yes, we know that.
And they're an outstanding team. Adrian Luna had a standout season this season. His team didn't win it, Kerala, but you know what? There are some big franchises there that have got serious coin behind them. And that's always going to help them now that crowds are coming back. So where Luna played, if Luna played in front of a crowd in his hometown in Kochi, he would have been averaging about 60,000. I've commentated games with 70,000 in that stadium about 3 or 4 years ago. So there are times when you go to stadiums and you just can't believe it. You get there 2 or 3 hours early because we have to, and the fans are there 4 or 5 hours before kickoff. Well, it's not like, going to the G, going to a pub in town and just walking down to the G about, half an hour before tip-off. This is a day. This is like a celebration for them. Their passion is amazing. Wow. It's as good as anywhere I've seen in the world.
Yes.
They love stars and celebrities. I've stayed in hotels in India where the Indian cricket team, the English cricket team have stayed as well, where the security is just mind-boggling. More security than the Prime Minister would get. Their cricketers are gods in India. Absolutely.
Andy, I saw you with a photograph of Sachin Tendulkar. Now, I'm a big cricket man. I'm still playing cricket at my age. What does he like to talk to? Did you have to actually bow to him down like a god, or what? Was it all true?
Well,
what they do? Is that true or what?
Football show, Harry.
Harry.
Go on.
I've got a reputation of just going up to any celebrity or anyone and just saying good day and how you going and trying to have a conversation and grabbing a selfie. One of the nicest people is Tendulkar. Yes. I had a chance to meet Virat Kohli and he gave me an autographed shirt and tickets to the Test match. Paul Rifle was umpiring that day. He was staying at the same hotel. And Alan Lamb and Ian both were commentating for the English TV. I met Hashim Bogle. I've met... one of my favourite things, and I love this guy to death because I worked with him when Pay TV started, Dean Jones. Oh, yes. Dean had been to India about 60 times. And sad. Dean and I, whenever we'd cross paths, we'd always organise to go out for a bite to eat and have a conversation. And even he was asking me about my charity, and would you believe how he passed,
I know, I saw it, I heard it all.
And the guys that were there working on the cricket also work on the football. So when he'd passed and I'd arrived in India not long after, they broke down in tears because they knew about my charity. They asked me a lot of questions. They follow me on socials, obviously, and they sort of said, we get what you're trying to do. And for Dean was one of those guys that you just thought was unbreakable.
Yes.
much like Hooksy, when I first met Hooksy, he's a bit of a football fan.
Yes.
He used to interview me on his show in Adelaide when I go over there for Match of the Day with Johnny and Les. We're sort of blessed to have met people like that and worked with them in any capacity. And plus the fact that when you get non-football people that talk to you about football, that's what I love. You know, Ronnie Wood from the Rolling Stones was staying in our hotel one
Ronnie,
day.
I know who he is.
And we had a conversation. And he couldn't believe that we were there for football. He didn't believe India would have football happening. But, you know, when you've got a country that big, there's room for all sports.
It is.
Cricket is first, second and third, no doubt about that. But football is pushing. Football is evolving. And give it another 10, 15, 20 years.
Andy, the other thing I'll tell you is right now there are secret things happening at the FFA. I can't talk about this.
Well, you just mentioned
No.
talk about the bloody
No. I'm going to talk about the second division, Andy. They're talking about this.
It's not working. It's not going to happen.
Andy, and we're talking about Marconi, South Melbourne, Heidelberg, West Adelaide, Hellas, Olympic. What do you think? Will you come back and call these games? Will you do it, please?
Mate, I've been to a few games up here. We actually did testing at Olympic v Apia at Belmore Sports Ground. Look, there must be a second-tier competition. We all know that because, you know, that becomes... Look, NPL teams, particularly the beginning of the A-League, mate, they were the nurseries. They were the nurseries for A-League clubs. Wow. I think Central Coast Mariners at one stage when Laurie McKenna was there, I think 70% of his squad were NPL players he'd recruited, that he'd been seeing for a number of years. And they adjusted to the top level of football. Once you become a part-time player, it's difficult. You're holding down a job. But if you get a carrot that says you can drop working, you focus on football 24/7, it's your full-time job, it's your profession, players will improve. Players will improve. Some will improve quicker than others. But it's the adjustment of going into a full-time environment. And that's what happens in India. All those players now went from, you know, working on, you know, the parents' farms or whatever they were doing to being in a squad environment, staying in 4 or 5 star hotels and traveling the country playing football.
Exactly. And that's what we need right here, right now. And there are talks right now, straight after the A-League final. Let's just wait for a couple of months. I heard a few things from a few people from Sydney. We just have to sit down. Some people don't want it, some people want it. But honestly, Andy, the survival of these clubs, who are the foundation clubs from right up to 1977, we are talking here the survival of these clubs. They need to come back. Is that right? Otherwise, we lose them.
That's what I'm wanting to celebrate on July 16th up here with my second NSL reunion. Well, one of the reasons I do it is to celebrate a golden period of the game, but also say to new football, let's reflect on our history because when the A-League started, it was sort of just pushed away. Sadly, it was de-ethnicized in a way. You can't de-ethnicize a sport that is global, full stop. There's no de-ethnicizing. That's why they call it the world game.
That's right.
That piece of leather unites everyone, no matter your race, your colour, your religion, your political views. Once you have a ball out in the middle of the pitch, it's 11 against 11, it's game on. It's the only sport that can do it because it's the biggest sport. Exactly. Most of the world plays. It's a no-brainer. That's why I get frustrated when people try to put our game down.
Yes,
don't put our game down. Embrace it. What's the first thing that you normally get your child when they start walking to do? Kick a ball.
Well, that's right. And this is what we're missing out here right now. And we've tried to lift the game for so many years, and we're trying to push the second division. And we've pushed for 4 years, Andy, this show. And we accidentally stumbled on something to say, well, let's do a show, Frothy, is that right? And it's bloody working. How's that? We're pushing the game here.
Mate, I've heard a big rumour about some of those clubs that you mentioned earlier that they might be involved in something in the new year.
Oh, yes, we know exactly what's going on. I can't talk too much. I had some information.
I don't want to say it, but it's very progressive if it comes across the line.
It's very fast. They're pushing very fast, believe me on it. That's all I can say.
Let me just say this, Andy. Harry and I attended a match a couple of weeks ago. 2 of the biggest clubs in Victoria. Oh, God. South Melbourne and Heidelberg, and we counted about 950 people. Now, tell me they haven't got at least 5,000 members each. It was a sunny day, Andy. Conditions were good. The pitch is brand new over there.
Oh, beautiful.
There's no seats there. The same rocks at the corner flags from 1982. They haven't cleaned the gravel there, but it doesn't matter. The pitch was fantastic. It was a great day, and people didn't rock up, Andy. Now
you know what it is. The new generation have too many choices to spend their social time.
Correct.
Now, in the old days, when you couldn't sit in your lounge room and watch every A-League game, or like they do now.
Correct.
In the old days, you would go to the game. You would go to the game because it was part of the culture. It was the part of the way you were raised. And the simple fact was there was only one live game that SBS would broadcast on a Sunday night.
Yes.
So you would go out to your club, and then you would watch your highlights show on the Monday night. And that seemed to work. It brought crowds across the line, absolutely. The only issues we had in the old games was the political history that some clubs had, and the issues that we had with crowd violence, because that gave the mainstream media every excuse to put the slipper into our game. We didn't help ourselves. But what shits me with that is you have some sort of issue at a football game, yet a one-day test or a one-day cricket game or a test match, more so one-dayers, you'd get 60 or 70 arrests, and you'd read it in page 22 in a two-paragraph little thing in the bottom right-hand corner.
Exactly.
Gary Ward said the same thing. I think we had Cozzy on. I said the same thing. They do not want this game to grow in this country, and it hasn't grown since 1977. But now, if it can grow in India, where the standard is way below the A-League, they are obviously doing, and obviously cricket is their number one game there.
Of course it is.
Now, what has to happen here? Look, let's forget about the second division, because that might not even happen.
Oh.
You know what was a good model out of the NSL that a lot of people probably don't reflect on. The one good thing that we had in the NSL was the National Youth League competition.
Yes,
those kids would play before the main game. That would actually give them confidence. And then you'd start seeing some of those under 18 players sitting on the bench or starting in NSL teams.
That's right.
And when you look back at your Trimbolis and your Markovskis and these guys, how old were they when they made their debut in the National League?
They were 15,
16, 17,
Bloody.
because they were good enough and they were given the chance.
Was it Viduka 15? Viduka was 15? Something like that?
I commentated Viduka's first National League appearance at Summer Street. I think Dukes was 18 at the time, coming out of the Institute of Sport. Remember, the best players were in the Institute of Sport, and the Institute had a team playing in the National Youth League.
That's right.
And that's. I wish we had the Institute of Sport back, because that was, mate. Look at the players that came through there. Your Skokos, and your Dukas, and so on, and Farinas and Zelic.
Golden generation,
mate. They all came through. They all came through a system that allowed them to be full-time footballers at a young age.
So, Andy, what is the answer? How do we get people to the A-League? That's our main competition. That's what we've got to focus on. We know, yes, COVID has hit the last 2 years.
I can answer that.
We need the superstar marquee signings, and unfortunately, in this marketplace, the superstar marquee signings, if they're not playing, Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, Bundesliga, and whatnot, they're going to the second-tier competitions of Europe, or they're going into, places like China,
MLS,
Saudi Arabia, where they're going to get serious coin. We don't have that serious coin that we once did, perhaps, because we have had some amazing players playing the A-League. And you look back, even look at this now. Dwight York's back here as a coach. When he arrived in the first season, Dwight York was a walking headline.
He was.
Yes.
Paparazzi everywhere, whatever he did, Dwight York's going to the toilet. Oh, let's put that on page 3.
He's like David Beckham, the way he was going.
He was.
He was.
And quite rightly so, too, given the pedigree that he had coming here after a wonderful career in England.
I know what you're talking about, and I'll tell you something right now. When I saw him last week, he being interviewed on the news last week, I said, is this guy for real? Does he look his age? He could put the bloody stuff on and start playing again, Andy. He's that fit. I couldn't believe this. I tell you, he's unbelievably fit.
you know what? How good was it to see those young kids come through in the A-League team against Barcelona? That's what we want to see.
That's what
More of those kids, and it's showing you, if we nurture the kids, those refugees of African background, they will deliver. There's a market there, massive market to develop and work on. But sadly, we're probably blessed in our lifetime that we saw the golden generation.
That's right. Yes.
Will we see one like it? Who's to know what's ahead of us in 5, 10, 15 years' time? Someone asked me yesterday, they go, Andy, remember when we had 6 or 7 Aussies playing in the Premier League? How many playing now?
Yes, correct.
That's a sad reflection of where we are. Yeah, we've got some great players playing in Europe, and we've seen guys like Rogic do his stuff at Celtic and whatnot. But unfortunately, we don't have that 11 or 12, 13 players playing in the top leagues week in, week out.
Okay, the burning question right now, Andy. Yes, this is the question. My hands are cold, but I want to burn them now.
Well, let's go for
the burning question. The Socceroos, is this tomorrow morning or what?
Ooh.
It's a big week, isn't it, guys?
Massive week, Andy.
You know what disappoints me about this? Why the hell are we not allowed to play home and away? I mean, there's something so important. Neutral venues, so it's back to the lottery. I feel sorry for the team and for Arnie in that, because in the first phase of qualifying, it was a stroll in the park in so many ways,
Yes,
and then it got difficult. We dropped points where we shouldn't have dropped points. Guys, I'm praying and hoping we get to the World Cup. It's important for our game to beat the World Cup, particularly knowing that Australia and New Zealand will host the Women's World Cup next year. It gives us that massive injection going into the end of the year. It flows on the back of what's coming, what will be an amazing Women's World Cup. And it's a question I'm going to ask James Johnson and Sarah Walsh.
Yes.
I'm doing a part of that live broadcast with Tomalaris that Harry's organised. That's on Saturday night from 6, so you can see it live on Facebook and LinkedIn and whatnot. It's a 3-hour broadcast, so we're looking at the game, our beautiful game, and what's coming next, and how can we change things, how can we improve, how can we work on getting TV ratings up, bums on seats. The cold, hard reality, right? We talk about weight of numbers of our game. It's fantastic. The weight of numbers is grassroots football, young players, right? Those young players, when they come home, they're going to watch their AFL stars. They're going to watch their rugby league stars. They're going to watch their favourite Premier League team. But then, do they have a favourite A-League team? And that's the difficulty. Turning those young players into future supporters of the A-League. And that's the biggest mission I believe the game has right now.
Andy,
Spot on.
They had the right idea a few years back using Ange Postecoglou in a commercial called You Must Have a Team. Remember that commercial with Ange Postecoglou and Yoshi?
Yep.
Yoshi, do you have a team? Why'd they stop that? That was fantastic.
It was, yes.
Why'd they stop that stuff?
By the way, how proud are we of what Ange Postecoglou delivered?
Oh, yes.
Ooh, yes.
From the moment that Alan Brazil was taking the mickey out of his surname on the radio.
I saw that.
To the way it went, I followed Ange religiously, particularly through this journey. We all knew, and I remember when I was a rookie reporter at SBS and I'd go into the Hellas dressing room, and I know deep down, I've never asked him, I'll ask him the question when I see him, but I know deep down that Ange used to hate me coming in and taking the mickey and having fun with Salakis and Durakovic, because he was focused. He'd be focused on the game. His focus was on getting those points for South Melbourne day. He didn't want diversions. He didn't want any bloody laughter and humour. He wanted his teammates to be totally focused. He was a driven man back then. He's a driven man now. And quite honestly, he'll have another season at Celtic, and if he delivers again, you'll see him move on to a bigger club than Celtic, and Celtic is a huge club.
The Premier League is calling very short. I heard something about the Premier League a few weeks ago, and if he does well, like you said, this time around, they'll be calling. You'll find out about that. And I thought, is it Southampton? They said Southampton as well. They wanted him at some time. Southampton. We'll see about that.
Look, you can name probably a handful of teams, including those ones that are newly promoted, because he was an unknown factor in that part of the world. His coaching his coaching badges were not recognised in Europe. And that's why Alan Brazil was having a dig at him. But you know what, mate, he's proven himself here. He's proven himself in Japan. He's won an Asian Cup, and now he's done something that no one really expected and lifted the Scottish title.
And you know what? You just mentioned Alan Brazil. Do you realise he played in this country? And he should know exactly.
Harry Michaels brought him out along with Trevor Francis and Paul Mariner. Now, what a visionary Harry was. Mate. He thought, you know what, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm going to bring out some superstars. Yes, and he did. He did. And he did. And I'll never forget Alan Brazil scored his first goal at the old stadium here. The stadium here in the city, not the main Olympic stadium out at Homebush, but the Sydney Football Stadium has been redone. Very well. And they played Sydney Olympic, and Alan Brazil scored and won 1-0, and Harry was just he was on fire that night. He
spoke to me last week. He said a few things to me, but I'm not going to say about him because he had some stumbling blocks. That's as far as I can go. That's what he spoke to me last week.
Well, can I say one thing? We talk about marquees of the NSL.
Oh, mate, they were the best.
Big names. Now, there's one marquee that's just finished up, Andy. Now, let's check your knowledge of the great game. I'm going to say this. He played 6 games this year, 138 minutes in total, didn't score a goal, not one assist.
What?
Can you name him? Well,
I think the fishing might have been really nice on the west coast of Australia for him.
Oh no, that bloke.
Well, do they go fishing? Do they? I thought they were more.
He might have gone looking for sharks down at Fremantle.
DS. Maybe.
It's DS by name, but for the local fans, probably BS by nature.
Well, you know what? I thought Romario, when he came here, I thought he had a working holiday. But Daniel Sturridge, what's his name? Yeah. Sturridge, whatever his bloody name is.
Sturridge.
Nothing against the young fella, but my God, did he not deliver?
He played for England as well, didn't he?
Well, it doesn't matter what he played. He came to the Glory, did nothing.
At the World Cup or
something. You could have played better at the Glory, Harry.
I've done better than that for sure. That's right.
You could have had more muffins than him for sure.
Well, I think the injuries didn't help him, unfortunately. And conversely, look at what Jack Rodwell's done. And I met Jack. Jack's actually married. Do you remember Rene Licata that played at Marconi, played in the 1983 World Youth Championship with Jimmy Patikas, Rod Brown, Fabio Cantarino,
yes.
Frank Farina. Now, Rene's daughter is married to Jack Rodwell.
Wow.
And that's how Jack ended up in Australia. And he loves it here.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, now let's still on the subject of marquees now. Ninkovic exits Sydney FC. End of an era for Sydney FC. You'd have to say that, Andy.
Oh, absolutely. One of my favourite all-time players. I was actually talking to one of his besties, Mirko Radosavljevic, that played at Apia, about getting him to the NSL reunion. He was telling me that he was in Doha, heading back to Serbia, unsure of what move is next. So to me, that sort of indicated, okay, he's going to leave. But what a golden light he's been for the A-League. You know, that guy, incredible talent. We were blessed that we had him here for so long.
It's amazing you say that, Andy. I'll tell you why, because we've got Bruno Fornaroli.
Don't worry about Bruno.
We would have had Ninkovic play for Australia as well.
Don't worry about Bruno Flopperoli. I'm going to give you another name, Andy, and you're going to tell me who would you have in your team right now if they were both available and fit. We're going to go for Ninkovic and Thomas Broich. Now, be honest here.
Oh, Broich.
Broich any day.
I'll go for Thomas.
The magician.
I might be biased a little bit, but I reckon Broich would have to be a little bit better than Ninkovic. Just a touch.
Different style of players, but you know, I'll throw this question at you. Okay, do you ever recall Thomas Broich having a bad game?
Never.
No, I've seen all these games because I'm lucky enough to follow two of the greatest teams that have ever played on the soil here. Not in this order, South Melbourne and Brisbane Roar. And Ange Postecoglou. What's his name, Andy?
He coached them both, mate.
Well, that's why I follow those two teams. But look, Broich's last couple of games, getting a bit old. He came off the bench, but doesn't matter. Look, the guy's a superstar, and he's probably one of the best A-League imports we've had, next to Del Piero. So we've got to remember Del Piero.
Del Piero's impact was truly remarkable.
Amazing.
he was like the Dwight York factor when Dwight first came out season 1. And when Del Piero came out here, I must say that it was probably just a slightly stronger level of interest in Del Piero from a media perspective.
Yes.
Because, look, with all due respect to Dwight, Del Piero had won much more and played for big clubs, huge clubs. York played for big clubs, don't get me wrong. But what Del Piero did in Serie A and for Italy was phenomenal.
Unbelievable. Better player,
and
basically.
He came at the right time. It was towards the end of his career. And obviously, he also had a bit of a run in India like so many others. I mean, Tim Cahill finished his playing career in India.
Mate. Well, now, what's your take on this? Our mate Carl Viet, he has said that Mohamed Touré he's joining a French team, and he goes by this is one of the greatest young talents we've had.
French too. Now,
he's played 42 games with 7 goals. Now, I don't know whether he's one of the greatest talents, great player, obviously, but as a forward, 42 games, 7 goals, Andy, what do you think about that?
I think for anyone that's a striker, that sort of ratio is a bit low. But what tends to happen with some of these players, when they leave the confines of an A-League environment and go into Europe, all of a sudden, they're not the standout player. They're in a mix.
Correct.
Now, it really comes down to, can that player go the next level in that different environment?
Yes, correct.
And it's rare that we see that. And you look back at people, say Robbie Slater, he went to Anderlecht. In fact, actually, in 1985, he went to Nottingham Forest, ended up being shown the door by Brian Clough. I was there at that time. And then he had to reboot his career in terms of Europe. He went to Anderlecht, and that didn't work for him. So then he travelled by car. I think Eddie Krenchevich told him about going to Lens, and then he ends up being one of the best foreigners to play in France, and then he goes to the Premiership and wins a title at Blackburn, plays at Southampton.
He was very good at Blackburn. He was very good.
So it just shows you some players, once they go into that environment in Europe, they either sink or swim. And we're hoping that any Australian youngster that does go into that European environment does prosper.
Absolutely.
We've seen some amazing talents, right? Notice, particularly of Greek background. You think of Terry Antonis and Panos Amanakis when they first went into Europe. I was thinking, oh my God, that things are going to happen. They're going to move forward. They're going to become big stars, and for whatever reason, they just couldn't go to that next level. I think Panos now is playing in Denmark, I think, a Scandinavian country in the second division, doing great things. But I remember seeing him as a 9-year-old, much like Antonis, that Tim Cahill took under his wing when Terry was 11. And I saw Dimitri Petratos on Friday night at an over 45s game where we were testing, and his dad was playing, Angelo. I was talking to him, and I said, well, what are you up to? He goes, well, my contract at Al Wahda in Saudi Arabia finishes in a couple of months. He wasn't sure what he was going to do. And it just seems that, in the old days, when you sign for a club, right, you're at that club for a fairly decent time.
You are. That's
Unfortunately, footballers are cattle now. It's all about business.
That's what it is.
Selling, making money, moving them. So they don't have that stability. It's very rare that one player stays at one club for his entire professional career.
That's
Back in the 50s, 60s and 70s, that was the case in many instances. But with the money that comes into the game and the owners that are there, the agents that are involved, it's almost like a revolving door.
You got to look after your sponsors too, don't you? You got to be a winner for your sponsors, otherwise they'll let you go. Is that right? That's how it works too.
Well, that's right.
That's right. Andy, we've had a fantastic night with you here. I tell you what, we've got a guy here, before we let you go, he says here, how good is Andy? Can we get him on next week?
Well, listen, wait till I get down to Melbourne in a couple of weeks.
We want to talk to you. We're going to get involved with you and do something.
Can I ask Andy a few more questions?
Come on.
Now, Andy, is there one? You've obviously commentated on quite a few hundred games. Is there
thousands,
one that's
mate?
Well, thousands, maybe thousands. Look, is there one game you actually said, you know what, this has to be the best game I've seen. Is it one that just gives you something to say, well...
Can I tell you, this will be... Look, there's been some amazing games that I've been involved in, and there was one Marconi versus South Melbourne at Middle Park, but there was one game. There was one game. It wasn't NSL, but it's a game that a lot of the older listeners and viewers will remember, and it was one of those signature commentaries.
Yep.
It was in 1993.
Yep.
1993 World Youth Cup. Now, 91 we made the final. Remember, we had Ocon and Zelic, all those guys. And then in 92 we made the semis of the Olympics. But in 93 we hosted the World Youth Cup.
Ooh.
Now, I was the commentator in Melbourne. So in my group I had, England, USA, Turkey, South Korea.
That's right.
Now, Turkey were playing USA, and Turkey were the European champions, and USA were the underdogs at Olympic Park. There's a guy called, I reinforced his surname as the way I thought I'd pronounce it. It was spelled Faklaris.
Is that
so
the American fella?
Yeah, Chris Faklaris.
Yes,
right?
I remember him. Tall boy, very good player.
What's his surname?
Faklaris scored a hat-trick against Turkey. They beat them 6-0 or 6-1 from memory.
Wow.
Oh, unbelievable player.
He's hit a goal. Les Murray throws to me. And I'll give you the running commentary. Right? I'll give you a running commentary.
Please
so
do.
It's half time.
Yes.
Les Murray's doing his studio rap with Johnny.
Yes.
And then he says, okay, let's go down to Olympic Park where your commentator is Andy Pashcalidis. So I'm sitting there. Thank you, Les. 3-0. Who would have thought here at Middle Park there's at least 11,000 Turkish fans in stunned disbelief as to what they've seen. And surely the Americans will sit back on this lead. The ball goes out to the left. It's with Smythe. He looks inside to Zavagnin. Faklaris looking for a third. Faklaris is 40 out, 35. Faklaris, and then he hits the ball, and it just swings, dips like an exocet missile and drops into the top corner. And all you hear me going, ready for it, boys?
Oh.
What a American extraction!
Yeah, I can imagine what you were thinking, I tell you.
Can I tell you, it was the first game I needed a security escort out of Olympic Park.
Oh, jeez.
All the Turkish fans are looking at me, and I was just caught in a moment. It was just one of those things you don't pre-plan.
No.
You're watching an underdog absolutely belt the favourite. That's what you're watching.
Exactly.
And that's what I love about the game. I always love that underdog to deliver that amazing moment in football.
That kid, honestly, I don't know where he went, but he was an amazing player.
He didn't kick on.
Unfortunately,
he didn't kick on, Harry. He didn't kick on.
I couldn't believe it.
Can I just confirm something? The guy's surname, can you spell it for me?
Faklaris.
Faklaris. Chris Faklaris, if you're American, or Faklaris.
Now, it's funny you should say that, Andy, because I Googled the 7 funniest names in football, and I'm going to give you the first name. This guy's name was Chiqui or something. He played right back for Paraguay. Do you know what his surname was?
What?
No.
Arse. Now, yes, you can Google this. There was a guy by the name of Danny, played centre back for Millwall. What do you think his surname was? Harry,
throw it at me.
Shit you. There it is there.
Was
you can Google this. You write it down and Google it.
He must have been
Now,
Korean.
let me go through this. I've only picked the 7. There's another guy by the name of Brian. He was a Dutch player. His surname was Penis. Yes, Pinas, actually. There it is.
There's another one called Johan de Kock.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard that one.
Yes, I saw that.
There was one at South Melbourne, I think, Damien Fuchs, FUCHS.
Yes, there was another one there. We have a Michael play for Cambridge. His surname was Gash. We had a Fabian played, who was an Argentinian keeper. Do you remember his surname?
No.
There it is there, Harry. Arseman.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Frothy, you've forgotten the classic one from Southampton.
I think I got that one here.
His name's Mike. Do you know what his second name is?
Hold on, Mike. I actually saw them. I didn't write it down. I've got it. Yeah, what's his surname?
Hunt.
That's right. Yes. That's with a H, obviously.
Yes.
Yes, we understand there. Now, 2 more, Harry, Randy. Listen to this. First name of Milan. a Czech defender. His surname, let me spell this, Fukal.
Oh,
Would you say
no.
that's fuck all? Well,
I
that's how you pronounce
So how do you pronounce that?
That's,
Well, it's
my
either that
God.
or fuck all, I suppose.
Is it football?
Say it faster so that doesn't sound like what it sounds like, okay?
And one more
faster.
before we let the great man go. A striker for Hull and Bradford. His first name was Dean. What do you think his second name was?
Windass.
He got it.
You got Andy.
He got it. He got it. I'll tell you what.
Unbelievable, mate. Unbelievable. You hit it right on the bloody target then.
Well, there you go. And people think I come up with crap. Well, I googled that.
It's all true. It's all bloody true. Andy, we're going
and there's many more.
You can't get him.
There's a guy called Harry. Do you know what his surname is?
Sunday.
There
you go, that'll do. Fantastic. I'm never on Sunday. Andy,
Never on Sunday.
we want to meet you here in Melbourne. We want to do a show with you somewhere for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely.
Let's party
Yeah.
when you come down. Let's talk during the week or whatever. I'll talk to you anyway.
Well,
Andy,
we'll do
fantastic.
it. No, thanks for the opportunity. And if anyone that's keen to support the charity, that NSL reunion, July 16th, just drop me an email, go on the website, drop me an email at andy@heartbeaterfootball.com.au.
Well, Andy, what you're doing, obviously the men's health thing and this and that and getting on board and,
It's amazing.
all that type of stuff. Look, let's leave football aside. I mean, like you said,
right.
possibly saving lives. We know men, we think we're, nothing's going to happen to me.
We're not invincible.
That's
are we?
right.
And that's true. And look, don't worry about the game. I mean, what you're doing there, let's be serious, Harry. I mean, this is fantastic.
And don't forget with
We
the
want,
This is
guys, you
absolutely
know what it
fantastic.
is? Guys, what we want in our game, and our game always talks about leadership.
Yes.
All
Correct.
we want in our game is 0 deaths on the pitch because
Correct.
no one should die. No one should die playing the game they love. And when a footballer goes to play his game, his family's at home expecting them to come home. And when
That's
they
right.
don't
Correct.
come home, and I see the pain, I see the agony, I see the torture that these families go through.
Oh, yes,
And
yes.
I've seen it myself. I've seen a teammate pass on the pitch in a game that I was at. It was one of the triggers for me to start this because no one was doing jack shit. And I thought, come on, guys, don't just accept it as part of life cycle. Let's be preventative. Let's educate.
Absolutely.
Let's make people aware.
Exactly.
Let's get defibs out. And, credit to the man in Victoria because he was the first. John Aaron put defibrillators out in a $3.7 or $3.8 million grant-funded package. And here's the ironic twist there. John wasn't well. He's from Geelong. He went to Geelong Hospital and had a cardiac arrest in hospital and survived. Because if you're going to have a heart attack or cardiac arrest, the obvious place to be is in hospital.
Exactly.
And I believe that good deed was returned for him when he went through his own episode.
There you go. Things happen for a reason,
Well,
as they say.
that's it. They're exactly right.
They do, guys.
They do.
Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay happy.
Thank you,
Andy,
Andy.
we'll
You're
talk very soon. Thank you very
valuable
much for
time.
coming tonight.
Much
Thank you.
appreciated. Thank you,
Thank
Andy.
you,
care,
Andy. Thank
boys.
you for joining us. Thank you,
He's a
guys.
star.
He's amazing.
He's not only focusing on the game here, Harry.
We are talking about an encyclopedia of the game here tonight.
Oh,
we
well,
are
look,
talking a historian of the game, health, football.
Well,
It's just unbelievable, guys. And some of the knowledge he has of the game, we don't know why he's not working in this country,
well,
guys.
let's rename this.
Sir Andrew Pashcalidis, we name you tonight.
Well,
we're going to crown him Sir Andrew Pashcalidis. He deserves an Order of Australia,
I
mate.
am going to put something else forward. Every time there's a football follower around the world that wants to Google something regarding to this great game here, don't put in Google, put in Pashcalidis because he will tell you more than Google.
That's unbelievable. We need the guy involved in the game here. What's going on here?
Well,
the FFA don't see
see,
the knowledge of the game of this man.
he should be.
You people are in trouble.
Shut up, let me talk.
Jesus,
now,
mate.
Andy should be. He should be commentating the A-League.
It should be.
Now, is it because he's got a Greek name? They're not giving him a go?
They don't want to. It's
Now-
no. It's old football, old soccer. New football, old
Well,
soccer.
look,
You know
if
what
it
happens
wasn't
when-
for the old football, my boy, this current football wouldn't be around.
Exactly.
So they're, look, G. Ward said it last week.
He said it. Of
they
course
are
he said it.
purposely trying to kill the game here.
Of course they are.
You could say it's half dead at the moment, but
They love wogs and soccer, Andy. Oh, God, here we go. They love what you go.
who loves it?
Peter Trin said that, by the way.
Now, what is a
We
wog,
better get
Harry?
this bloke on quickly or we're stuffed.
What is
We're
that?
going overtime tonight,
I
you know,
hear
don't
that
you?
quite often. What is that? W-A-O-G? What is a wog? I've got no idea.
A Western Oriental gentleman.
Oh, that's fair enough, I suppose.
They say, here he comes,
Now,
Mr.
who we got on
EPL
here?
for a couple of minutes, man. Mr. MPL, why aren't you answering, sir?
Harry,
Mr. MPL, welcome tonight, sir.
going
Welcome
on?
to Football Less tonight. You heard some
How we going,
amazing
boys?
stuff,
What's
didn't you? Did you hear the reminiscing of the NSL tonight, or what?
That's great.
South Melbourne.
Proffies, what's going on, mate?
Well,
Enjoyed Andy Pashcalidis' interview. It was really good.
Mate, he's
Some
amazing.
great memories.
Andy's the best.
It makes a lot of sense.
Oh, he does.
It was a really great interview. Like,
oh, yes.
just
Oh.
like
We just got it.
everything
we
about it.
just
Like,
we
it
got
was
the
really
scoop.
good. Like,
Hold on.
I got,
Who's talking?
like,
Guess what's happening?
it was like
Go
for
on.
me, as in like, Andy's talking about, like people from ethnic backgrounds and non-Anglo backgrounds. Like I'm, Anglo and
I know.
I'm not from a European background. You know what I mean?
Same here.
And
I'm an Anglo
people
as
like
well.
him, Les Murray,
Yes.
Johnny Warren. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
SBS. If it wasn't for them three and SBS, you know what I mean? Like, mate, I wouldn't follow football I have for 34 years in this country. You know what I mean? Or 30,
That's right.
31 years in this country. You know what I mean? Like 32 years. I wouldn't be following football. It wasn't for SBS and them. You know what I mean? Because they bring the game to everybody in this country. Bring it to your lounge room. Bring it to your TV screens.
That's
Bring
correct.
it, like you said, on Sunday nights, Sunday mornings, mate. I used to get up every Sunday morning. I told you this before. You know these proffies. Sunday mornings, mate. Every morning I used to get up.
What you
I
watching?
watched Italian football. Then I watched on the ball. Then I went to football. You know what I mean? I went to the game. You know what I
Easy.
mean? Like
Easy day, isn't it?
every Sunday, mate. That's what we did in my house.
And guess who we miss on Thursday nights, don't we?
Ooh, who's that?
Lucy Zelich, mate. She's disappeared.
Lucy
Lucy's
Zelich,
gone.
yes.
Remember, she did the Premier League highlights. They're gone, finished, all done.
SBS is just like it's finished, mate. It's a shadow of what it used to be. There's nothing on there worth watching.
Okay.
There's no football on there whatsoever. It's just it's an embarrassment. You know, and honestly,
It
compared to they were football in this country. Now I don't even watch SBS no more, mate.
Let me tell you about SBS. I'm going to talk to SBS. Calling SBS people out there
Yes.
right now tonight. You're a bunch of morons. You've destroyed the game here. You don't put anything
Exactly.
on it. The bloody, and you're listening. I know some of you officials listen to us. It's
Well-
time that we made a revolution. The soccer psychos are coming to attack you. I tell you what, mate, we're going to get you very shortly. We want our SBS back because you took it away, and we want it back. The people who had it have taken it away. You know that, don't you, Joe? They've taken it away from us.
Exactly
Bastards.
right, Harry. You're spot on. And Channel 10, they are an absolute embarrassment. I don't care what anyone says.
Ah.
I watched some of the
no.
grand final. Western United, Melbourne City. Right? Watch some of the grand final. You know, you guys. I don't watch the A-League, but I watch some of the grand final, and I'm watching it. All of a sudden,
Commercials.
Western United score a goal,
It's gone.
and what does Channel 10 do as soon as Western United score a goal? What do?
They
Go to a bloody ad,
They
mate.
don't put a
An
replay,
ad.
a little small
An ad.
exclamation
They
replay.
go to an
Yeah.
ad. They don't show the replays of the goal. Don't show
bullshit.
fans celebrating in the grandstand. Let's go to an ad. And that was it. I just turned it off. I was like, I'm done. Thank you very much.
Well,
this is
Gav.
why I don't watch the A-League. This is why I won't watch the A-League. So I'm done. Goodbye. See you later.
Gav,
So-
can I just say this? My colleague over here,
Yes.
I had an email earlier on today, and I haven't even told you, Harry.
Better say it quickly.
I had an email from SBS, and they want to give us a run, and this guy's just bagged the shit out of him. Well, there goes our career.
No, bullshit, mate. No.
SBS Viceland.
Not Viceland, mate.
I hate football.
NITV.
Who were they?
You'll find out shortly.
Well, no,
Mate, they're too busy covering the NBL, mate. Or the NBA. They don't care about football no more. The
Mate.
SBS, mate. They couldn't
Can
care less.
I ask you, Gavin? We
Compared
are
to the
coming
golden days.
now.
Yes.
Coming up to the NPL, we are coming up to the very interesting
Yeah,
part of the
now,
season.
Ooh,
Eh?
yes.
NPL, mate. We haven't talked about the NPL for a couple of weeks.
Better do it.
Absolutely.
Got a few minutes to go.
It's been interesting. We're over the
13
halfway
minutes
point.
to go.
Yes.
We are up to round 16. We're
Yes.
well and truly
Ooh,
over the halfway
it's
point.
And who's on top of the ladder, Gav?
And who's on top, mate? Who's top of the table?
I'll tell you who it is.
Exactly right, Proppy.
It sounds like
Spot on,
it
mate.
sounds like Beethoven. What's Beethoven? Is it?
Spot on.
Okay.
Well, they laugh.
Been top
They
of the
laugh.
table since round one. Have not come off, mate.
Well,
Still top.
You were the one that
Still
gave
going
up
well.
on them round 3, I remember,
But
and they're
wasn't it-
still on
wasn't-
top of the ladder.
Wasn't there a problem? Wasn't there a problem at some? There's a problem. Wasn't there? Hang on for a second.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a problem at Summer Street last week?
Yes, there was a defeat there.
Yes, we lost,
unfortunately.
Harry, 2-1, mate.
Yeah, but
Cracking game.
too far ahead though. That's the thing.
Cracking game if you're neutral, but not so good if you're me, mate. I'm telling you now, mate. I didn't
Bloody the
vote
old
for very well,
NSL ground, Summer
anyway.
Street, eh?
Yes, the old
I didn't
Summer
go,
Street.
but it was a cracking game. Knights won 2-1. Scored a great goal in injury time.
Jeez,
It
injury time.
was a good game. It was a good game. We equalised 84th minute. I thought, yep, right, yep, got it, right. Take
You're
a
in.
point.
You're
We'll
in.
take this. We'll go home with a point. I'm happy. And then 90-something minute, the cracking goal. Bloke went from the halfway line, mate, took on half the team, beat like 3 blokes, and then one of the best finishes you'll see this season. It was a great goal. I hate saying it, but it was a cracking goal. Can't say nothing else. But it was a cracking goal and a deserving goal to win the game. You know what I mean? Like,
Fantastic.
and credit to them, they won. And that's it. You know what I mean? We've lost 2 of the last 3, but we're still a point clear at the top. And I think we are the real deal this year. I think we are the real deal to win the title. We have played some magnificent football at times this season. And during this season, during the NPL season, you're going to have your ups, you're going to have your downs. It's such a competitive competition that you're not going to go through the season unscarred without having a couple of bad losses through the season.
Well,
that's
that's
just
right.
going to happen. And we're just going through that at the moment. But
I know what
no
you mean.
doubt, 10 games to go, we're going to be top 2 when the season finishes, mate. I've got no
Top 2.
doubt about that.
What about our great mate George? Where are the Burgers? Where are they on
Burgers,
the ladder?
mate. Well, mate, they're 7th and they had a 2-2 draw against Bentley at home after they had their great win against us.
Wow, 2-2 against
They-
Bentley.
they-
Anyway, it's not a
come
bad
up
result.
2-2. 2-2
Wow.
against Bentley, mate. So, they're going all right, Heidelberg. You know what I mean? They've moved right away from the relegation zone. They're chasing that top 6 spot. You know what I mean? Like, I'll go through the ladder in a minute, Proffies. But Let's give you the results quickly.
Please.
Knights 2, South 1, Green Gully 1, Port 3. I went to that game.
Ooh, what unbelievable score.
That was 3rd versus 4. That was actually, at the
shit.
time, it was 4th versus 5th. Now
Jesus.
Port have moved up to 3rd. So great win for Port. They're a good side, Port. They were really impressed me when I watched them on Friday
Oh,
night.
he's back again. Hold on. No. Shoot the bastard. That bloody crow. Sorry, Gavin.
Sorry, Gav.
Get
Horrible.
out, you
Oh,
bloody-
sorry, his brother Boris is over
Ethan.
there.
Shoot the mug.
Eastern Lions, nil. Altona, great win for Altona. They move away from relegation zone. I don't see them getting relegated.
No.
Dandy, Thunder, nil. Oakley, nil. Oakley, people say Oakley dropped 2 points, but we drew with Dandenong Thunder when we went there. We drew 1-1. Dandy Thunder, a good side at home. So
Yes.
probably not a bad result for Oakley. Big win, huge win for Dandenong City.
Ooh.
2-1 over Hume at Hume. Massive win.
Ooh, are they going to be relegated to Hume? It looks like it.
No, well, it's for me, it's Hume or Dandy City or Eastern Lions.
Aha.
Dandy City are only 3 points behind Hume now. So it's them for 2 of them 3 are going down. I think everyone else is going to be safe, but there's a big gap between
Yes.
3rd last and 4th last. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and only 2 are going down. So I think it's down to Hume City, Dandy City, and Eastern Lions.
Yes.
Personally, Eastern Lions, I reckon they're finished.
Aha.
Dandy
they're gone.
City and Hume, it's going to be out of who are going to get relegated.
Oh boy, they're going to play off, do they?
So and the other 2 games were St Albans nil, Avondale 3, good win for Avondale,
Ooh, gee.
and Heidelberg 2, Bentley 2. And the table
Yes.
I'll tell you the table. South on top, 37 points.
Yes.
Oakley, 2nd, 36.
Jeez.
Port, 3rd, 31. Green Gully, 4th, 28. Avondale, 5th, 27. Bentley, 6th, 24.
Gee.
That's the top 6.
Yes.
Then outside the top 6, Heidelberg on 7th on 23. Melbourne Knights, 8th on 22. Dandy Thunder, 9th on 22. Altona Magic, 10th on 20.
Ooh.
11th, St Albans on 20. Then the bottom 3. 12th, Hume on 12 points. 13th, Dandy City on 10 points. And last, Eastern Lions on 6 points. This is from 16 games played.
Jesus. How many more to go?
10 more games.
Geez, that's a long season this year. It's and you know what upsets me? A couple of years ago, you had Avondale being really strong. They've dropped big time. They've lost a bit of money, have they?
Yeah, they've dropped off the pace a bit, Harry. Yeah, they're 10 points off the top.
Jeez.
Their record this season is from 16 games, 8 wins, 3 draws, 5 losses.
And they
scored 31 goals and they've conceded 21.
And they
got on 26 points.
And didn't they get fined? They got fined as well, didn't they? I heard.
Oh, they had some court case last year or something. They tried to take the Federation to court and stuff. I reckon they lost a lot of money in that. Maybe that's affected it and impacted them in some ways. I don't know.
And some guy owns that. And some guy owns that club privately, apparently.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't surprise me. Not at all. Not surprise me at all, mate.
Now, Gavin,
I mean, they're a joke. I got no time for them at all.
Okay,
it's like, it's still up for grabs. Like top 6 spots, I think Heidelberg, Knights, Danny Thunder are still in it for a top 6 spot.
I
think from 10th down, they're not making it. Altona, St Albans, Hume, Danny City, they're not making it. You know what I mean? And I think it's the bottom 3 for relegation. As in Hume on 12, Danny City on 10, Eastern Lions on 6. 2 of the bottom 3
history
are going down.
They're all gone.
8-point gap between 12th and 11 between Hume and St Albans.
It's one of those seasons.
The top 2, the Mine Championship, I think it's going to go down all the way to the last day of the season. It's a point gap between us and Oakley for the top 2.
Okay, now
for the Minor Championship.
Isn't that's going to be a massive? Is South Melbourne playing Oakley very shortly?
Yes, we playing Oakley in. We've got St Albans on Saturday night.
Yep.
Then we playing Hume City away in round 18. Then we play Green Gully round 19. Then we're playing Eastern Lions round 20. I think it's round 21 we play Oakley. Hang on. Round 21. No, round 22 we're playing Oakley.
Okay, that game, I'll tell you
round 22.
That game.
16th of July.
That is going to be the biggest. Is that at Lakeside?
At Lakeside, Saturday night, 6:45, 16th of July.
You want me to tell you about that game? What's going to happen that day? I heard something about this now. Remember this. This is the game of the coaches. You know, don't you? Remember Chris Taylor coached South Melbourne, eh? And you got Pablo Escobar there with his. No, I can't go there. Pablo Escobar. Pablo Escobar's he's doing all right, mate. But I tell you what, Chris, the former South Melbourne coach, is gaining. Is that right? We'll see about that day. Well, the amount of booing that day when Chris comes out of the dugout. Can you imagine? Oh.
Well, Harry, sorry, in the big games, mate. Doherty Cup final, grand final, mate. Who's always come out on top, mate? Who's won the big games, mate?
Is it South? South is every time, mate. South. But
who won the championship 2014 when there was no finals, mate? They choked, mate. They lost to the Knights away, and they handed us the title. Wouldn't even play, and they lost to the Knights away, and we won the title without even playing, mate. 2014. They're the biggest choker the game's ever seen in the state.
Somebody's just loaded.
And they've got the best coach, but they're still going to blow it this year.
Let me tell you, somebody's stirring me here right now, Gavin. I don't like this. I don't like it at all, mate. I'll tell you right now.
Who is it? The Prime Minister?
We've got the man
Peter Lebanese,
No, we've got the man from Uncle here, all the way from Vietnam, saying Harry supports Oakley. Stephen Holiday is always on holidays. Stephen Holiday.
He was mate, Stephen.
I am not an Oakley supporter. Number one, okay? It's stirring me up.
Harry's a burger. Harry's a burger.
I'm a hamburger.
That's how it works, mate.
I'm a hamburger.
Harry,
is that right, Bobbies?
No, you're wrong, mate. I know. Don't be fooled by his Greek background.
Don't talk to me, please.
Harry is a very, very passionate Preston, the Macedonian team, Harry.
Please don't talk about them again.
Harry's Preston through and through. That's why he follows Essendon.
They sometimes think Preston, they think Heidelberg.
No, he's Preston.
That's
why he follows Essendon in the AFL.
I still want to.
Harry is red and black through and through.
No.
And when we had Lou at Shevsky here about 4 weeks ago, did you know, Gav,
they invited us
I went home. Now, shut up, let me talk.
Jesus Christ.
I went home and Harry and Lou went to the club rooms and had a bit of grappa together. Over at Preston's ground, at BT Connor Reserve. Now tell them, Harry, did you got drunk that night?
We're supposed to. They've invited us to go and we don't go. They've invited us to be on the show there, mate.
Hold on, I can't hear you talking. Go again.
Prof, he's talking about Preston, mate. You know what? They're fourth, mate.
Yeah.
Fourth on the table.
Fourth.
Melbourne City are top. Melbourne Victory is second. Western United are third.
What are they
Preston
doing?
are fourth, mate.
What are
They're
they doing
2
there?
points.
Well,
They're
I
2
thought that
points
was
out
this
of automatic
What is
promotion,
this?
mate.
What is it? A-League clubs that got their bloody juniors
What is
playing.
going on there? I don't understand.
What are those
Yeah,
teams
exactly.
doing there? They're
I get
rubbish. They
That's
shouldn't
right.
be there.
At the NPL3, Harry, Profi.
What a lot of rubbish.
NPL3.
Well, Harry, you
That is
gotta,
ridiculous.
Fourth,
Harry,
mate.
you got to jump off your team, Preston, mate. You got to come a
Mate.
bit higher in the ranks. Go for a long.
No.
I'm
I'm going to reveal my new club.
Well, you said that a while ago. They were green.
It's time-
Apparently, you
it's
got to
time-
tell us.
Gavin, it's time to reveal my new club.
Well, go for
Yeah,
it.
okay.
We're all ears.
The drum roll. The drum roll. Hang on.
Yes,
the drum
roll
roll.
on.
The drum roll.
And your new club is
New York Cosmos.
New York Cosmos. Give me a
Cosmos.
Come on.
New York Cosmos are back,
They went
guys. The
broke 40
Cosmos
years
are back,
ago,
mate.
Aaron.
They're back.
Yeah.
They're back, mate.
They
They're
went
back.
broke 40 years ago, didn't they?
They're still back. They're back now. Sorry, boys.
Mate,
New York Cosmos is
if
back.
you follow New York Cosmos, I'm Osama bin Laden, mate. How's that?
Oh, you can have that.
But
Jesus
then,
Christ.
I
Gavin,
think
we're
you
gonna.
make Preston,
Well, you know
yeah.
what? We've got.
Fourth,
We've,
mate,
we just.
NPL3,
We've
mate.
got 1 minute to go, and we're going to be cut off right now because data's about to go.
Okay.
Well,
Just want to quickly mention Australia, mate. Looking forward to it, mate.
Oh, geez.
Can't wait.
I think
should be a good game, mate.
we should win this one, but the thing is, it's the next game.
Well, I watched the Jordan game. We played well, I thought.
We did.
Thought we played really well. We had a lot of new
Jesus.
blokes in there, mate.
Oh, we cut
a couple
them
of blokes I'd never even
Let's give
bloody
you a
heard
warning.
of, mate. Kai Rolls.
Warning,
Who
yes.
the hell's Kai Rolls, mate? Never heard of him.
Who's this bloke?
Kai Rolls.
Who's Kai Rolls, Profi?
Kai Sausage Rolls. He was a Brisbane reject. How's he playing for the Socceroos?
Well, I don't know what's
Well,
going on.
he's in the national team,
Bloody-
mate. He's running Benedict,
You know,
buddy, your
Benedict
mate.
Arnold.
Well, what about your
Benedict,
mate
mate.
Mitch Duke? He's a superstar too,
Jason
apparently.
Heidelberg, my God, man.
Well, I tell you what. In the Socceroos lineup against the friendly against Jordan, mate,
Oh,
we had Jason Davidson, Craig Goodwin.
Guess who was good?
Riley McGee.
You got
Nick
you
Agostino.
guys have forgotten something.
And who else? That was just from the A-League.
Bale-
You know what I mean?
hey,
Like,
hey,
I'm talking about
you
A-League.
forgot-
blokes. And
hey,
it's Kai
hold on,
Rolls.
let him
I don't know who
talk,
Kai
mate.
Rolls is.
I don't know who I'm
Who is
talking to
Kai
here.
Rolls? Who's he play for?
Kai Rolls. Who does he play for? He plays for
He,
the
pl-
Mariners.
he plays for that asylum there in
Mariners?
bloody England. Asylum in England. An asylum. Listen, you guys have forgotten one guy who he brought back and really performed well.
Who's that?
Bailey Wright. About
Who?
bloody time he brought him back.
Yeah, well,
Bailey
exactly
Wright.
right, Proffies. Oh, I mean, Harry, sorry, I couldn't agree more.
He's got that
Bailey
many-
Wright's had a great, since he signed for Sunderland 2 years
Yes,
ago,
yes.
he's been playing every week. He just helped Sunderland get promotion to the
There
championship.
you go.
He's a big fan favourite at Sunderland.
Yes.
And I've always liked Bailey Wright.
He's been
always,
cap-
mate,
always been
always.
cap-
He's
cap-
reliable.
captain as
he's
well.
solid. You know what you're going to get.
guys,
He's going to
can
give you
I-
a 7 or 8 every time.
We got to go, boys.
He's a
I've
good
got some
footballer.
flash news,
he's
Gav.
nothing spectacular, but he's a good footballer.
And by the way, we've got someone to talk about. We've got some father of the Socceroo here right now. We've
Peter
got
Goodwin.
Mr. Tony Goodwin's on right now, guys.
Yes.
And don't forget, Craig is playing as well. Craig
Yes.
is playing. He's playing very well, and we want to see
Craig is
Craig.
a champion.
Of course,
Craig
he's
as well.
he should
Ah,
be, and he
I tell
should be starting as well. His father's on right now.
He helped set up the goal. He set up the first goal.
There
for,
you go.
Bailey Wright.
Now,
Craig-
Gav, Harry,
There you go.
Goodwin's a good
before we
forward.
get cut off,
We're getting cut off now.
I had an email from
10,
from Andy
9,
Pashcalidis.
8,
He wants us
7,
to play his
we're going.
favourite song. Now, it's a Greek song. Now, listen up.
Yeah.
That's Andy's favourite song, apparently. He just emailed me.
I'm dancing. We're
Now,
going
we
to get
gotta
cut off
sing along
now.
this, or what, Harry?
All right, he's going to watch the game. He's going to watch the game on Wednesday morning.
Yes,
or
we
what,
are,
mate?
man. I'm dancing here now, mate.
Cool, I'll be watching, mate.
All right, guys. Thank you,
Looking
Gavin.
forward to it.
Thank you, Gavin. We better
Cheers,
get going
mate.
right now.
No worries, mate. All right, it was good speaking to you. What are you doing for Saturday night, Harry? Proffies. Come to the South and St Albans, mate.
Saturday night, I'll be in Adelaide
You're
on
not.
Saturday.
You're not going to be. You're
Oh,
not
you're going to
gonna,
Adelaide.
I'm going to Adelaide. Apparently, Mark Gilligan, what's his name?
He's
Not
on a
Mark
mission.
Gilligan.
He's on a mission from God.
Mark Gilligan that played for VARFC. He's the assistant coach
We
at
better go,
Adelaide.
mate. We're gone.
And they want me up there to cut the oranges for him, mate. So I'm going to
Okay.
make my trip up to Adelaide on
Right,
Saturday.
okay.
And
All right, mate.
what is that?
Have a good time, mate.
Are we still
Take
on?
some solar panels.
Good night, guys. We'll see you next week with another special guest. What a great interview tonight with Andy.
Well, I wonder
Pashcalidis.
like a footpath is in
Good night,
Adelaide
Gavin.
these days.
See you, Gavin. Good
Good
night.
night, mate.
Catch you soon.
There you go.
With a population of 55 apparently in Adelaide, Harry.
It is.
Those people in Adelaide. Have they got beer in Adelaide, Harry?
The cup of
The
life.
cup of life.
This is the
one.
Now is the time. Don't never stop. We shouldn't know. Gotta be strong.
You gotta
We
be
shouldn't
strong.
know.
Let's get
Right from
loud.
the top.
Let's
And
get
when
loud.
you feel the heat, the world is at your feet.
Beat bangs.
No one can hold you back. Get him! Get him!
I see it in your eyes. The cup of life.
The cup of
Like
life.
the days here, you're gonna get it. Do you really want it? Do you
Hey!
really? Alan, welcome, Alan.
I think I've had too many beers.
We go. Good night, guys. Frothy's gone. He's lost. We've got to get the ambulance in here right now. Good night, everyone. Good night, everybody. See you next week. And go the Socceroos. And Craig Goodwin should score a hat trick too. There you go, guys. Good night, everybody. Thank you. Hi guys, Harry Sunday here, letting you know that there's a apparel company that supports the game that you love. It's called ThereIsOnlyOneFootball.com, guys. They've got all sorts of stuff, from caps, t-shirts, water bottles, all sorts of accessories, even for your mobile phone. All that sporting stuff you can wear anywhere you want to wear it, guys. That's right. And don't forget the website it's on, ThereIsOnlyOneFootball.com.
There is only one football.
To show you what's happening
Yes.
right here, right now in the studio, because we got this beautiful shirts that we're showing with Frothy right now, guys. Frothy's back with me. Frothy, what's happening with these shirts, mate? Can you tell me what's happening right now?
Shut up, let me talk.
Oh,
now,
bloody
listen,
hell, mate.
We have these great tops here.
Yes.
Now, it's a bit of a 2-minute show tonight, I believe. So
Yes.
we're back in town, but we
are.
officially back in town on
That's right,
Monday
yep,
with
yep,
some
yep,
major announcements and start again. Announcements.
Yes.
Can you spell announcements? Can you?
Announcements.
Can you spell that?
I can't spell
Well,
it
leave
all.
it for next time. Now, let's go through the tops. Now,
That's
these
right, yep,
tops,
yep.
well, if you were born 400 years ago, you'd know about these tops. So we've got the great St. George here, I believe.
No, Brisbane Lions,
Sorry
mate.
about that. That's Brisbane Lions there.
Brizzy Lions, mate.
And we got South Melbourne Hellas there.
No, Fitzroy United, you're
Sorry
telling me,
about
mate.
that.
Fitzroy United.
This one's Inter Monaro, is it?
Into Monaro.
No, that's St. George Budapest.
St.
apparently.
George, yes, the Hungarians,
Yes,
the Hungarians,
and over
mate.
to my right, which is your right as well. Are we still
Yes.
on?
We're still on,
We're
of
still
course,
on?
we're still on,
Well,
mate.
over
Yes.
here, we got the great Sydney Olympic. And I know the cat has probably ordered a couple of
Oh,
those.
he's got a couple of hundred, mate.
Well, I'll tell you why he's ordered a couple. I had a chat with Peter Raskopoulos during the week.
Oh, he hates his guts.
And he said to me, Peter Catholos, a cat, has ordered two because his gut's so bloody big, he needs two jumpers to make
Really?
one. So, well, look, that's only a joke, cat.
Oh, my God, mate.
well, look, also, Canberra, Canberra City.
Canberra City. You know who coached them?
Yes.
In 1977?
Frank Arrock, wasn't
Johnny
it?
Warren.
Johnny Warren.
We're laughing, mate, everywhere.
I told you so, Johnny Warren said. I doubt we sell many because how many supporters did they have? That's beside the point. Also, we got Hokoa up there.
That's
great,
right, of course.
Brazilian heritage, are they?
Yeah,
Hokoa?
Brasilia. Well, yeah, a lot of them escaped to Brazil.
We'll leave it at that. And the great Marconi.
Marconi.
And let's go through them. Great quality.
Of course.
They fit nicely. They are cheap. You know what? They're too bloody cheap.
$75.
$75 is not even $80.
Plus postage and handling.
Plus postage and handling, and our great friend with David Ben and
Yes.
Arrow Sports.
Arrows
They come-
put together.
yes, they
there
come
is only,
together.
and then guys, you can buy them on. There is only
Well,
one
you keep
football.
going. I'll play the great South Melbourne tune.
There is only one football where you can get it from. There is only one
There's only one
football.com
football,
in
yes, sir.
conjunction with Arrow Sport. You can also buy fantastic kits for your teams as well at Arrow Sport, and they're working together to bring you these fantastic 1977 Phillips League. Of course, you're bloody on, Frothy. And of course, guys, 1977. These shirts are fantastic. You've got the other ones at $150, which are the original gigs, $150, and then you've got the sublimated ones at $75, guys. So yes.
And can I just say, I suppose it's not appropriate to say this, but my team had a win on the weekend.
Yes, they did.
Well, not the weekend, a couple of days ago. So they're flying, and I tell you what, it's pretty much it. Now we're going to sing a song just to.
Well, I can't. We can't actually sing a song tonight because we're just doing the show tonight.
Well,
that's
we're
all.
just advertising the jumpers in.
That's right, guys. Where to get them from? There is only one football.
That's the one there.
So, guys, thank you, guys. Get these fantastic shirts right now because you will never find them. Good night, guys. Thank you for joining us. See you in a couple of days' time. Thanks, guys. Get on Arrow Sport.
Monday,
Arrow Sport. There's only one football.com.
We'll probably have Paul Wade on
Thank you, guys. See you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
There's going to be someone we're going to have.
Football is.